I want to talk about a game I really enjoy. NieR Automata. I know a lot of people will already sing the praise for this game, so I'm not really making any new grounds. But it is a game I really enjoy, and I just kind of wanted to yap about why I do. The story of NieR Automata and a TLDR is that there is a squadron of androids known as Project Yorha, and they battle against machine life forms that are on Earth that have forced humanity to flee to the moon. And two of the key members of the squadron that you get to play as are 2B and 9S. However, I don't think that plot alone represents NieR in terms of how much of a masterpiece it really is. Because, a story at the end of the day is only so much, but the finer details in it, I think, are what makes NieR especially as good as it is, and worthy of the success and admiration it has received over the years. The opening area of the game, the tutorial, kind of has that feel of like this epic battle between androids and machines, but then when you get to like the overworld, it's mostly quiet and you can just walk around, do whatever. Even the machines, they don't automatically fight you, or at least not all of them anyway. You can kind of roam around and just do whatever you want at that moment. And I won't really spoil anything because I know not everybody's played NieR Automata that will see this video, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say that the machines themselves, when you really learn about their story, there is a bit of a valid reasoning behind them wanting to maintain a somewhat peaceful life on Earth, even if they have to fight the androids to achieve that dream. But also the story between 2B and 9S, which, again, I won't go too deep into. It is a bit of a deep and kind of complex story at the end of the day. Why 9S is actually like a very curious guy, but at the end of the day, the reason that 2B is so distant and even at times cold to 9S is because of the fact that he's a very curious individual. And I really do wish I could say what it was. I mean, I guess I could, but again, I don't want to spoil anybody that hasn't played the game. So, I mean, that's something I can't really do if I don't want to spoil anybody. I know a lot of people will think of NieR as a series and think of depression and any type of negative feeling to regard it, but I think NieR Automata, at least, is actually a very hopeful game behind a very bleak story. Automata as well is a very depressing game with a lot of, emptiness that is going on throughout the story, but I think that by the time you finish the game, and even whenever you really think about it going through the game, there's a lot of hopefulness through the story. I don't know what all I can say that wouldn't be a spoiler, but the literal last line in the game is that the future is not given to you, but it is something you must take for yourself. And that's something that had kind of stuck with me after I played it, because at the end of the day, even if nothing is guaranteed, you can at least try to do something and try to manifest it into your reality at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, if you don't try to do something, it's never just going to fall into your hands and become a reality or anything. You have to at least attempt it, whatever it may be, whether it be art, teaching, music, videos, anything. Even if it's just your regular 9-to-5 job, nothing's really ever just going to fall into your hands. You have to at least try to do something for it to become a bit of your reality. I will also admit that this game is one of the main things that helped me to form my ideological stances, where I personally don't believe that there is any inherent meaning to this world, but that you make some for yourself. Like, when you are born into this world, there's really nothing bestowed upon you. You're just put into a world that exists. And if you want to be nothing in your life, then you can choose to be nothing. But if you want to just live a simple, quiet life, you can do that. If you want to live a loud, extravagant life, you can do that. But at the end of the day, the world itself doesn't really give any meaning to you. You just give it to yourself and live in the way that you see fit. An anime for NieR Automata came out in 2023. I only ever watched the first episode because I have a horrible attention span. And to be honest, I liked the first episode. Now, I watched it when it aired, so I don't know if I'll still agree with that now, but it wasn't that long ago, and I still remember it just being how the tutorial of the game was, but in anime episode form. And I hear good things about it, but also hear it does take some liberties and make some new plot elements to the NieR universe, which I actually respect. As, to be honest, I don't think I'd want to ever watch it if it was just literally the exact same as the game, but in anime form. But I guess for somebody who didn't want to play all of NieR Automata but still wanted to get into it, it would be a good way for them to get into it. But since there's still distinctions between what is the game and what is the anime, even if they still follow the overall story, I would still say it's something I want to watch in the future. I've only held off on it for my own personal reasons of things I want to do in the future, but I honestly might just give it a watch at some point on my own if I don't do those anytime soon. I discovered NieR Automata back in 2020 during the time we were all locked indoors, and even if I still to this day don't feel like I was, in terms of the effects that I had from 2020, definitely a time of extreme loneliness as I was locked from interacting with others, as I didn't have social media at that time outside of my house, as I was still a minor. But I think having something like NieR Automata to experience during that time, even if I didn't own the game and only saw it through others, it still makes it mean a lot to me in a weird way. And especially now that I have played it on my own, makes it even more special to me, and allows me to go back and revisit something anytime that I just really feel the need to kind of feel something, I guess you could say. I don't know, it's not my absolute favorite game of all time. It's something I really do love and would say it's one of, but not my absolute favorite game of all time, just one I really adore. And I really don't have much else to say, so I'll just say thank you, Yoko Taro, for creating a masterpiece.